Kefalonia, a Greek island in the heart of the Mediterranean Sea. An island that is home to an ancient species, one that has existed for millions of years. Loggerhead turtles. But the loggerheads are under constant threats from one dominant species. Threats that some people have dedicated their lives to try and stop.
Loggerheads are constantly affected by human activities. They cannot adapt quick enough to survive these changes, and it's therefore our responsibility to save them before they disappear forever. I first came to Greece in 2010 with the intention of studying loggerheads on their nesting beaches, and I absolutely fell in love with sea turtles. During my research, I met Nikos, the project coordinator. Together, we formed our conservation organization with the sole purpose of saving sea turtles.
We get volunteers coming here from all around the world to help with the conservation of the loggerhead sea turtles. They patrol the harbor to watch the turtles that are swimming there.
It's in the harbor where something unnatural is causing a major problem.
The loggerhead turtles typically journey out to sea to their foraging grounds. What's interesting about Kefalonia is that not all the turtles choose to migrate to these foraging grounds. Some turtles stay in the harbor all year round, which is an exceptionally rare behavior.
This rare behavior has attracted people from all around the world to come here and observe the turtles.
I came to Kefalonia to do my PhD research on environmental identity, so how people connect to nature. And I have spoke to quite a few fishermen and looked at some of their relationships with sea turtles.
Οι χελώνες τις αγαπάμε, τις θέλουμε, απλά κάποιες φορές δημιουργούν και κανένα προβληματάκι.
They believe that there's so many of them. They don't think there's an issue with their numbers.
Χρειάζονται προστασία, αλλά δεν χρειάζεται να μαζεύονται όλες σε ένα μέρος. Γιατί σιγά σιγά τώρα έχει γίνει υπερπληθυσμό. Στον κόλπο είναι πολλές.
And the turtles are there because of an unnatural setting, which is the feeding of fish.
When the fishermen come into the harbor in the morning, they clear out their nets and they'll throw any fish they cannot sell into the water. They don't realize that that's a problem because it's making the turtles concentrate there. In the last 15 years, they have increased from about 4 to more than 45 turtles.
But this increased population is causing major problems for the vulnerable turtles.
As the turtles concentrate more, they become territorial. We find a lot of turtles that have scars on their necks and their flippers from bites from other turtles.
And there is a far more serious problem for the turtles in the harbor.
As turtles concentrate in the harbor, they become more prone to accidents. We often find turtles that have ingested fishing hooks or are trapped in fishing lines and fishing nets.
These injured turtles are helped by the conservationists through rehabilitation programs. Luckily, this turtle survived. But sometimes, even with the best of care, the turtles can't be saved.
Only a few weeks ago, we had our oldest resident male wash into the harbor. He was smashed by a boat.
We had people crying. They knew the turtle quite well. They've seen it for years. It's like seeing a friend dying, and there's not much you can do about it.
So what are the long-term solutions to prevent these two worlds from colliding?
The solution to saving sea turtles is to work together with fishermen, not against them.
Through educating the fishermen and developing good relationships with them, we have made them more aware. A few years ago, they even started selling those fish to tourists so the tourists could feed the turtles. However, we talked to them about it, and eventually they have now stopped doing that. And they are now more careful with their fishing nets and fishing lines, and the goal is to get to a point where they will stop feeding the turtles in the harbor.
If the fishermen are part of the group that cares, then that's one step forward in helping the sea turtles.
But the fishermen are not the only human threat the turtles face. Tourists pose their own problems, as naturally they want to interact with the turtles, and they don't understand that they're not supposed to feed or touch the turtles.
Όλοι οι τουρίστες θέλουν. Το 99,9% ή και το 100%. Όλοι οι τουρίστες θέλουν να τους ρίξουν ψάρια. Δεν μπορούν να καταλάβουν το γιατί δεν πρέπει.
And the impact of tourists goes far beyond the harbour, because one of the major attractions for both people and turtles are the beautiful beaches. The large number of tourists force the turtles to nest in less favourable areas, often close to the sea, where the eggs are vulnerable to waves and more likely to drown. This is why the conservationists have to relocate over half the nesting sites that are laid in Kefalonia. And without protection, the vulnerable nests would almost certainly be destroyed. And tourism has also affected the turtles at night, when the nests become ready to hatch.
When a hatchling emerges from its nest, it crawls towards the brightest horizon. This is typically the moon reflecting off the sea. But with an increase in tourism, the beaches are more lit. In this case, a hatchling will emerge and crawl away from the sea towards these beach bars until it exhausts itself.
But the conservationists have found a way to minimize the impact of light pollution.
We have developed light pollution equipment that can measure any light from a completely dark beach all the way up to the brightest light pollution. We use this equipment to show how extensive the light pollution problem is and also what is the effect it has on sea turtles. The goal is to develop this equipment into an open hardware which other conservation projects can use to solve the problem of light pollution around the world.
This revolutionary new equipment is already saving turtle lives, allowing them to head towards the natural light at sea.
Last year, we protected 21,000 eggs and saved over 2,000 hatchlings from light pollution.
Occasionally, the turtle eggs will hatch in the day and are helped by the conservationists. They have a long struggle to the sea, so when this occurs, the conservationists must shade the hatchlings from the heat of the sun. The future of loggerhead turtles in Kefalonia depends on organizations like this and their relationships with the local people.
As long as people continue to work together, I think that there is definitely a way to prevent harm to any of the sea turtles.
I'm optimistic about the future of sea turtles here because we work close with the local people to raise public awareness and to find solutions together that do not disrupt their livelihoods but help save the turtles of Kefalonia.